Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, y'all, welcome back. It's been a little minute. Um, y'all, unfortunately, not much has been going on. Actually, y'all know, let me do my little thing real quick. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. Okay. Because I'm notorious for talking. And then 15 minutes into the video, y'all be like, is it just me? Is it just my audio? And then I got a dull video and nobody can hear it for the first couple minutes. So let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. Hey, Kenya. I'm trying to add okay, there we go. Hey, Miss Cookie Ray. I hope you had time to eat your breakfast. Ready for this Sunday brunch. Have a mimosa for me, please. Hey, Pink Jeep Kiki. Okay. I love it. Come into the chat with an opinion, okay? And we can talk about that. Hey, Makia. And then Sharice, Andrea, everything is good. Okay. Everything is good, y'all. Good. Okay. Jay Antoinette, hey. So this is what we're gonna do this morning. I have to do an update for my friends. For my friends, y'all, the belly is still bellying. I have a few weeks to go. I'm in that zone where it's like it could be any day or it could be 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. We gonna see. Um, but I'm super excited. I'm just feeling heavy, feeling heavy AF. Y'all's internet niece is she got a head on her, y'all. She got a head on her like me. Okay, it's big, and she thinks she know everything. So that's my friend update. But before I was doing all the technical difficulties, I was talking to y'all about the struggle with the TV shows. Um, for me, I'm like, what do I talk about? How do I get into this new rhythm of coming on and finding stuff to talk about on just my channel? How do I do that? So, this week and really over the last 2 weeks, I felt inspired because I was watching Love is Blind and I also ended up falling victim to watching the 50-part series on TikTok, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Now, at first, I felt so strongly. I was like, girl, my sisters was telling me, oh, y'all got to listen to this. Oh my gosh, you got to listen to this. And I was like, where do I have the time to listen to 50 parts? So I started listening to part one, right? I started listening to part one. And when I did, I was like, she talking too slow. I was like, I can't do it. She talking way too slow for me. And where my graphic? I don't think I have my graphic on here. Anyway, here we go. I was like, she's talking way too slow for me. So I listened to part one, didn't really come back to it, went about my day, going to work, coming home, cooking, trying to walk when I could. And I had Monday off. So I was like, well, why not? I listened to all 50 parts. Well, yeah. I listened to all 50 parts. The reason why I hesitated was because I got to part 48 the first time I listened to it. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was cleaning the house, just organizing stuff. I had my closet in order by color, by texture. I was doing this for like 4 hours. And it wasn't until I got to part 48 where I was like, girl, I am tapped out. Um, I'm tapped out. Honestly, y'all, this is how I was feeling about it. This is how I was feeling about it. It was entertaining as hell, y'all. But when I got to part 48, it was like I was fighting with myself. I was fighting with the internet because I knew that the overall tone that I had been hearing online was that we were rooting for our girl Risa. We were rooting for our girl Risa Tisa. So I'm listening. I'm like cackling. I'm kicking with Risa Tisa. It's like a whole podcast, a whole Lifetime movie. Tyler Perry, please do not get a hold of this. Okay, I just finished Mia Culpa too, but okay. Anyway, So the clown mask, y'all, it's just like the red dot just kept getting bigger and bigger. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. One thing I'm gonna do is be fair about it because I think that Risa had a lot of accountability when she walked through this story. And of course, I'm a high level recap for y'all. I'm gonna high level recap. It's tons of recaps out there, and I think we like a whole week and 3 days late to the show. So y'all pretty much know what's going on. So it's just one thing that I want to do is make sure that I'm going with my gut. So if you've been living under a rock, Risa Tisa, she is the lady who people are saying is responsible for getting our attention span back on TikTok. Because, I really did notice like maybe my attention span really isn't much longer than a minute and a half, especially on TikTok. Because y'all know TikTok started introducing these 10-minute videos. Then they did 3 minutes. And I'm like, okay, you can get me for 3 minutes. But I listened to this woman for 4 hours straight. Basically, her story goes, who the fuck did I marry? This is her experience of marrying, um, playing private investigator and then eventually divorcing her pathologically lying ex-husband. So, long story short, and I'm going to say this, if you haven't heard the story yet, I highly recommend if you got 4 hours of your time to just let it play in the background because she has a playlist. It's not like you got to scroll the whole time. Go to her playlist and listen to the story because some of the shit is just comical, not only on her ex-husband's part, but on her part. And that's why I had my clown mask on. Like, I see you got your clown mask on like you always do. Okay. Clown mask t-shirts and merch for sale. Link in description box. Anyway, so she meets this man during the pandemic. And on the way to dinner, she ends up blowing out her tire. He does the chivalrous thing and he's like, let me meet you where you at. Meets her at a tire shop, fixes her tire. So this kind of just sets the tone of why she never gave up on this man. She thought that this man was going to save her. She believed everything that he was telling her. This man told her that he had two brothers and two sisters. He told her that he came from a family where his dad was a retired police officer, his mother was a retired teacher. He also told her one of the biggest lies was that he was a VP at a condiments company somewhere around Metro Atlanta. This man was putting in cash offers on homes with cash he did not have. He was showing screenshots of his alleged bank accounts, and they were just that, merely screenshots. She thought that she believed him. She believed him at first, and she had so many red flags in front of her face, and she ignored them. Even whenever she knew deep down they were lies, she kind of just allowed them to go on. It was just ridiculous. I have to agree. It was just ridiculous. Even her realtor, who she finally revealed today, realtor came out and was like, hey, I agree. Something's not right. He's not showing me proof of funds. If I have to help just you get a house, just let me know. So they end up not getting a house. That's strike one. This man's lying about his phone conversations. He's pretending to be on the phone with nobody, and she's believing him. He tells her that he has a BMW X5 as his company car, which is her dream car. She never sees it. He tells her that he doesn't park it at the house. He parks it at a building next to his company. Like, it was so many things that was crazy, y'all. So it was good. Okay. Just like Lee said, Lee says, I listened for 4 hours, enjoyed it. I've been told some big lies in relationships. This one takes the cake. It was enjoyable, y'all. But I'm not gonna lie. By the time I got around to part somewhere in the 30s, because I started it all and I was like, okay, obviously the tone is that the internet is rooting for this woman. I'm rooting for this woman because it sounded like she was really, holding herself accountable. Like, yes, I had my clown mask on. Yes, I had to learn a lesson. But around part 30, that's whenever she finds out that he never lived in California like he said. Yes, Mikey, I heard of that podcast before. He never lived in California like he claimed he did. He claimed that his ex-wife, just used him for money. She cheated on him and he left. Remember that because that's his go-to. Um, and she ends up going down to the courthouse, leaving work because at this point, her ex-husband, who she calls Legion during this story, has given her two different social security numbers. She peeped it on the marriage license, but then she peeped it again whenever she got ready to apply for a job because whatever job she does works like in law enforcement or something like that. And she just remembers, like, she's not law enforcement, but she works somewhere within that industry. Okay. So she knows that the first three numbers of anybody's social security number is tied to whatever state you were born in. Um, and they were just completely different. So she thought that that was weird. She does another background check on the actual social security number, or the second one that she got, and she finds out that, this is a completely different person. She also finds out that his ex-wife and he divorced in Atlanta, even though he told her that they divorced in California. So she goes to the courthouse, leaves work, and she got her Inspector Gadget hat on, and she finds this woman's phone number. She talks to the ex-wife on the phone. The ex-wife basically bust out laughing and was like, "What do you want to know?" Like, yes, he's a liar. Come to find out, he had a girlfriend and was married before this woman too. So at this point, Risa Tisa is wife number 3. So for me, y'all, I feel like this is where the series could have ended. If back in 2020, 2021, she had the mindset to remove herself from that situation. So this is where I'm like, okay, this clown mask is getting mighty big. Part 30 something. She talks to the ex-wife. The ex-wife then confirms his family tree. This man does not have two sisters. This man does not have a little brother. He has a twin. He has a twin who is actually a VP at a condiments company. And it's almost as though he's stealing his twin's life. She then gets in contact with his family. And this is when I was really done. I was like, girl, hang it the fuck up. Hang it up. She talks to his family. They confirm the family tree. That's the lie. His parents' job. That's a lie. The money he made, that's a lie. This man is a convicted felon. And the brother, older brother, ends up telling her, I would actually go look up his record because I can't even tell you just off of memory what his rap sheet says. So Risa Tisa, she goes and looks, and when she does, she finds out that this man who's a pathological liar was convicted of impersonating a police officer, y'all. I about screamed. But just her dedication to continue to find out the lies really had me taken back, y'all, because y'all know for me, it's never just black and white. I'm always wondering to myself, like, how did we get here? What's going on in your mind? What are you missing? And that's exactly where my mind went. My mind went to, why are you not letting this go? Why are you dedicated to exposing this man? And there's so many theatrics in this story where, his knee is hurting, his knee is gradually getting worse or worse. And, he's sick. We don't know what's going on. He's messing with prostitutes on Plenty of Fish. Like, listen to the story. She knows her location, when, where, who she talked to. She's comparing it to movie scenes. Like it's a good story, right? But at that point, I'm like, why are we hanging on? It sounds to me like the ex-wives before her dipped out around this point. When they started finding out that there were lies, simply lies, they dipped out. But Risa, Risa was like, no, I gotta find out exactly what's going on. So anyway, I continue listening. I get to part 48, and I get frustrated because she confronts him. And she might confront him a little bit earlier. But the part that got me was when she said to him, why did you even marry me, Legion? You didn't have to marry me. And for me, when she said that, I heard self pity. If y'all listen to the story, y'all let me know if y'all also heard self-pity in this part. That's what made me like literally want to tap out. Why did you marry me, Legion? You didn't have to marry me. And Legion goes, no, I did have to marry you because I knew the type of woman you were. I only had a year or less of you being my girlfriend because you weren't gonna stick around. And when she said that, y'all, I swiped up off that damn podcast so quick. I was like, girl, weird flex. Okay. Like, I heard the self pity, but by her asking him, why did you marry me? That's like the type of question that I would expect somebody to ask their partner who's been cheating on them, where it's like, you didn't really want to be with me, clearly. So why are you lying? With Legion, he cheated on her, but the issue wasn't that he cheated. The issue was that he continuously lied to you. So by him lying to you, that should have shown you his fucked up effort and dedication to keeping you around. So for me, I was like, okay, I think she just wanted some sort of validation. Tell me something good about myself. And I was like, I'm done. Circle back by the end of the day because I was like, I gotta finish the story. Ultimately they end up getting a divorce. She ended up keeping everything. He signed divorce documents, didn't even read it. The man lost weight, so much weight. She kept saying he went from like a 3X to a large or a medium. Man didn't even have money for fucking chicken nuggets. He was living in his car. His family was not helping him out. And that was pretty much the end of the story. So what came from this was Risa Tisa had a huge following coming out of this story. And I really want y'all to listen to part 50. The reason why I did not upload part 50 to this video is because part 50 has like some music in the background. Y'all know how YouTube be doing. I don't want to get flagged for playing the music on top of this video. But when I heard part 50, y'all, and she was talking really slow, and it was some gospel music in the background, and she was like, this is my story, and it was given very much the end of a Tyler Perry movie, except every Tyler Perry movie, the woman's best situation is to leave with another man saving her, but that's not the situation. So yeah, she ends up leaving, and it seems like she's living her best life. So following this story, she seems to have gotten a lot of sponsorship. So one of the things he lied about was taking her on a trip to London and Paris. Obviously, he wasn't going nowhere. He's a convicted felon. Okay. So she got a trip sponsored to London and Paris. Y'all know that BMW X5 that he claimed that that she wanted. It sounds like BMW maybe getting her that BMW X5 with the cognac interior. Um, as far as where she is today, I have to say I'm here for it. There are people who were wondering if she was lying. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This story is so wild that around part 30 or so, I had to ask myself, I was like, are we talking to the pathological liar? I asked myself that. Not because I honestly think this lady was lying, but you got to kind of question whenever things are so wild. And ultimately, I'm gonna tell y'all, I think she's telling the truth. I believe her 1,000%. Um, and people are claiming that she made all this money, 80,000 something dollars. She's the richest person on TikTok. She says that that's simply not true, just because she got suspended out of the creator fund for 30 days. So she said that she's going to come back to us with some more stories in 30 days. I don't think that it's coincidental that she got kicked out of the creator fund, because I think she was probably well on her way to making a real nice coin off of TikTok. She went from having a couple thousand something followers to having 3 million followers as of this morning. So she's really doing things. But let me play Legion's response, and then I want to read some of y'all comments. And let me say this. While I'm playing Legion's response, it's like a minute and It's like a minute and a half of Legion's response. While I'm playing Legion's response, if y'all want to jump on the line, go ahead and look at the pinned comment in the live comment box and go ahead and call in because we're going to close out of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? And we're going to jump into Love is Blind. But let's hear from her ex-husband, Legion, first.
I'm gonna address the rumor Risa Tisa ex-wife who straight line to y'all. It's sad because it's completely false of everything. More and to the point, I haven't decided who I'm gonna talk to exactly or go on whose page or whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know that she lied about everything. Follow her, don't follow her. That's up to you. All that stuff she said, it's complete lies.
All right, y'all. So that's Legion. If y'all were wondering what type of good looking man had to con this woman, she kept saying he was about 6'4, 6'5, successful. You thinking he a real nice looking man. Legion, y'all, I have no idea what VP she thought this man was. And she kept clarifying. She never said he was the VP of a company. She said that he had a VP position at a condiments company. Um, yeah, it's quite embarrassing. Legion's ex-wife is coming out and she's experiencing she's sharing her story, y'all. That was something where I was like, you know what? I gotta tap the fuck out. I started listening to Legion's ex-wife response, and as I saw her looking off at the notes to the right of her phone and then looking right back at her phone, I was like, I'ma head out. I'ma head out. So yeah, no. Yeah, I have to agree, Jay Antoinette. It looks like he's back up to the 3X. So it looks like he may have found another woman to con. He may not be living in his car anymore. Yeah, maybe he's the VP at a condiments company again. Ain't no telling. And then Sunny Days says, I'm so confused how he got 3 wives. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know what? It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm sure if I actually listened to that other woman's TikTok, and when I say the other woman, I'm talking about the ex-wife Latoya. If I would have listened to her TikTok, and if we would have heard from all 3 wives, you would have found the commonality was that these women just wanted somebody. And that's basically what Risa Tisa said. She said in so many ways that she just wanted somebody. Um, yeah. Let me not forget about how nasty this man was. This man was injured so bad that he was sleeping in a guest room and peeing in Gatorade bottles. By the time she kicked him out, there was piss Gatorade bottles all around her guest bedroom. Y'all, I would have hurt that man. Okay? I would have hurt that man. Um, Yoli. Oh, hey, good to see you this morning. Okay, cool. So I know some of y'all excited to talk about Love is Blind. I would happily call this brunch live Who the Fuck is Blind. I wanted to say that, but I wanted the search to pop up correctly so everybody could find the video. So I've been watching Love is Blind from the beginning, and I just got a kick. I got a kick out of the first couple episodes, and I'm like, okay, cool. Something feels really familiar, is what I had to tell myself. And I just kept watching. I hopped on Twitter. I've been on Twitter like every day that the show has premiered, and I've been talking on there. So, or X, whatever the hell y'all want to call it. And I got to the point to where I was like, girl, you doing too much typing on Twitter. Let's head over to the YouTube so we can talk with our friends about this show. So do me a favor, go ahead and like the video up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share it with a friend, and then we'll jump right into Love is Blind, where we're going to talk couple by couple, and we're really just going to recap up until this moment. All right. I hope y'all had the chance to like the video. I'm laughing only because this season of Love is Blind to me has been thoroughly entertaining. It has been thoroughly entertaining. Um, so one of the things that I was talking about when I said I hopped on Twitter, if y'all don't follow me on Twitter, make sure y'all do is Necey Dixon everywhere. And if I'm not live, then I'm tweeting about a show or posting on my Instagram story. Um, I post a lot of housewives gossip and tea on my Instagram story. Yes, I heard about Portia Williams. Yeah, I guess Portia Williams, because Portia Gobadia is not in the house. But anyway, y'all follow me over there. So I'm on Twitter watching Love is Blind, and I'm like, y'all see this couple in the middle? Y'all see Clay and AD? I was like, and y'all can't tell from this picture. Shit. I need to pull up the side by side. I need to pull up the side by side. Can I do it? Anyway, I was like, something feels oddly familiar. They reminded me so much of Paige and Chris from Married at First Sight. I'm gonna try to get the I'm gonna try to screenshot the tweet so we can so I can post it for y'all. But that's literally who they reminded me of. And I initially was willing to bet money that Clay was going to be our villain of the season, but that doesn't seem so. That doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm gonna talk to y'all couple by couple, but give me a hot second because I really want to show y'all the side by side picture of AD and Clay versus Chris and Paige. So again, like the video, just give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna hop back on. Okay, look at this, y'all. So this is what I was tweeting the other day when I was watching Love Is Blind. Y'all know used to review Married at First Sight like faithfully, but the show for me has definitely gone like downhill. I'm not really feeling Married at First Sight like that no more. But I said, I know y'all like to tussle, but AD standing up to show Clay her backside reminded me so much of dot dot dot, and that's Chris and Paige. That's Chris and Paige. I'm gonna tell y'all more about it. I'm trying to go in order of couple, but long story short, AD got a body yaddy on her. Okay. Everybody knows that. They the camera panned in on her body so much when they was in the pods. She has what I call an organic BBL. Like that is a blessed BBL, meaning she didn't lay on the table. It was God given, okay? It looks organic. She looks good. She's a pretty girl. But if you get with the wrong man who values your body more than your face and your personality and everything else, that can be a problem. So I was under the impression that that was going to be the situation with AD and Clay, only because AD flat out told her, looks are important to me. So do you mind telling me what you look like before I propose? Because once we get to the other side of these walls and I see you, like, I know that love is supposed to be blind, but that's an important factor for me. And I was like, oh, I was just like, girl, here we go. I think we got another Chris on our hands. And right then I was worried that he was going to be the issue on the show. So I made this tweet. Now, what else do I want to talk about? Let's get into the dynamics of it all. Let's get into who she was with first. Since I'm already talking about Clay and AD, let me stick on Clay and AD. So, if you haven't watched, or if you have, everybody kind of has like their third person. So what you'll see from these images, I have the couple on the left, or on your right. I have the couple on your right who is going to end up leaving the pods together. And that's like the main characters of the story. And then over to the other side, I have the conflict in their relationship, at least in the beginning or up until the point of the show. So there's Clay and AD is talking to this weird ass dude named Matthew. which is the guy in the glasses that y'all see over here. Matthew is also talking to a girl named Amber. And Matthew is really awkward, y'all. Matthew is really, really awkward. He's starting off in the pods like it's a job interview. He has 15 questions. He's, talking to these women, pick a number, I'm going to ask you a question. When these women ask questions back, he's simply walking out of the room. It was one girl, he walked into the room, heard her voice, and flat out walked out. And I'm like, okay, this is a really weird guy, but weird like in a nerdy, socially awkward way. Like he might be on the spectrum. Like that's what I was thinking, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's what I was getting from him. But for whatever reason, AD was his main connection. They seemed to get along just fine. One of the things that they didn't really talk about as much is, in my opinion, I feel like AD had a different comfort level with Clay simply because she knew that Clay was Black. Y'all know how they like to do when they in the pods. They start out with a little bit of what music do you like to listen to? Okay. Did you grow up in church? They start beating around the bush. They kind of like, are you? But you can hear, you can hear it here, y'all. I feel like you can hear it here. AD has a very bubbly personality type. And when I say you can hear it here, I'm not saying that AD talks like a white girl and that's why you can tell she was Black. What I'm saying is I feel like so often Black women have a little more like, not all, okay? Because I know some of y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? Anyway, I and many other people I know have a little bit of a lower octave. We talk down here. AD talks up here. AD talks up here. So you don't really know who you're dealing with. You don't really know if you're talking to a Black girl. You don't really know if you're talking to a mixed girl, but it wasn't completely given white girl. They flat out had a conversation and she asked Matthew, would you care like if I was Black? And he said no. He wouldn't care what she looked like at all. And that's what he came on the show for. So initially, when she was trying to decide who she should choose, for me, I felt like she might have been okay with Matthew's awkward ass. Because so many times on these dating shows, the awkward guys are overlooked. And those are the ones who like just simply want to get married. But there's so many red flags with Matthew, as are there red flags with Clay. So Matthew, people feel like he came on the show to have a breakout moment. He said something about America being on his side. Matthew also had another connection, like I told y'all, with a girl named Amber. Both Amber and AD have fathers who passed away. Now we getting closer to the engagement moment, and he ends up telling both of them that if I were to propose, I would want to do it with the blessing of your father. And I hate that your father is no longer here. He says something along those lines. The girls are going back to the little girl cave or whatever, and they find out that he said the same thing to both of them. I think Amber was the one who came back first. Amber's the white girl. And Amber starts sharing with people like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that to me. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. And clearly, AD feeling some type of way because AD was really serious about pursuing this weird ass guy who everybody else thinks is weird. And he's running the same game on both of them. So it's like, when did this lame ass dude get some game for real, right? So instead of telling Amber in that moment that she also had the same conversation with Matthew, she ends up approaching Matthew on it. And Matthew admits to saying the same thing to both of them. But he says something about like his feelings being different for AD than they were for Amber. We getting closer to engagement, like I said. So AD then has a conversation with Clay. And she tells Clay that, I have a connection with somebody else. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Red flag number one. Well, not number one. Let's be for real. Another red flag. Clay ends up throwing a hissy fit. He's like, who? Who do you have a connection with? She says, Matthew. He says, who is that? And he goes, Matthew. Oh, you're gonna regret that shit. Basically, like, Matthew ain't touching me. Like, it was all about his ego. And he even admits that his ego was hurt. And he basically goes off on her for even having a candid conversation with him about other connections, which is what you're supposed to do on the show. So, yeah, AD leaves and she's obviously hurt. Her feelings are hurt by Matthew, who was running game on her. Her feelings are hurt by Clay, who, basically went off on her for being honest with him. And nobody really talked about this, but I'm gonna let y'all know how I felt. AD goes back to the pods and she ends up telling Amber that Matthew told them the same thing about their dads. Now, I'm not absolving Matthew from being a low-key nerdy fuck boy. I'm not. But I don't know if it was the editing or what, but one thing I questioned was, why AD did you wait until it felt like you made your decision that you were going to go with Clay, that you was going to fuck up Amber? Like, honestly, y'all, in the beginning of this show, I felt like the red flags that Clay carried, and maybe I'm triggered. Maybe I got PTSD from Chris and Paige and I'm projecting it on Clay. But I felt like the red flags that Clay carried in the long run were going to be worse than the red flags that AD could have possibly experienced with Matthew. So for me, I felt like by Matthew running game, that was a red flag for sure, but it was something that I would have excused for you to look over, or even Amber to look over, than to continue on with Clay and become his counselor. So I don't know. I just thought it was fucked up because it's like, damn, AD. Amber may have gotten something out of Matthew, but maybe not. So anyway, y'all know how it goes at this point. I've already told y'all that AD and Clay end up together. They end up meeting up outside of the pods. Clay proposes to her, and it's not no regular proposal. He goes, hey, let me know if you'll rock out with your boy. Clay is a fool. Like, let me know if you'll rock out with your boy Clay. And she says, oh my gosh, Clay, I do. Oh my gosh. So, mind y'all, remember I told y'all he really wanted to know what she looked like before he proposed, but he proposed anyway. How nice of him. How nice of him to excuse what you look like on a show that's called Love is Blind and decide to propose to you blindly. So they end up meeting, and whenever they meet, they run up to each other, they hug, they kiss. They look like a good couple, right? But AD always came off to me as somebody who seemed to be the opposite of shallow. She wanted her relationships to have depth. She seemed like somebody who has always been praised for her body, and she didn't want that to be the case. But whenever she met up with him, it's like you was in the pods, strong arming this man. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you what I look like. And then as soon as they kiss and they hug, Clay, and I know in his confessional, he talks about how pretty she is. But in person, he's not telling her how pretty she is. He is telling her, hey, baby, aren't you glad you get to hold me and touch me? It's all about him. Aren't you glad you get to hold me and touch me? And we get to do this and you get to kiss me. And I felt like AD was looking for that moment of, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. He didn't do that. Now, they did add some clips where in his confessional, he said she was beautiful, but not in person. So then AD stands up and she has on this dress with like long strings. And she's like, oh, look at the strings on my dress. And she like, walks so he could look at her backside. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was so mad about it. I was so annoyed. And that's why I led my tweet with, I know y'all like to tussle, because I knew that the moment that I said something about AD, showing her body, somebody was gonna be like, y'all are over sexualizing her. It's her body. She can do whatever she want to do. Yes, AD can do whatever she want to do. But the thing is, it felt like fishing. It felt like you knew that one of this man's, top priority was making sure that you looked the part for him, whatever that was. We didn't find out what it was, but he wanted to know. We didn't find out exactly. He says petite, nice body, da da da, right? So when you get out of the pods, you then appease to him. And that bothered me. And that's what reminded me so much of Paige. Because Paige from Married at First Sight, this man only wanted your body, Paige. And if that was what she could get out of her husband on the show, that's what she would take. So that's what I was concerned what happened, what would end up happening with Clay and AD. But I'm gonna let y'all know right now, it does not seem to be nearly as severe. AD does not seem to have the self-esteem of Paige. She seems to be a very confident girl. But that's just where I came from with that. Okay, so they leave the pods. They go on the honeymoon, they meet the other couples, which I'll talk about in a second. The other couples are clearly talking about her body. There's insecure wives in the mix, which we're gonna get to them in a second. But one of the things in their relationship that seems to be an issue is Clay needs therapy. And that's the ongoing theme. Because y'all will hear me say for Clay, just like y'all will hear me say for Chelsea, they need therapy. Clay has childhood trauma because his dad would take him on ventures to cheat on his mom, and Clay wouldn't say anything. So Clay, one of his biggest fears is that he's going to cheat on AD, and he vocalizes that to her like 100 times. And AD is kind of just like, okay, okay, yeah, okay. And I'm just like, AD, you don't hear this man telling you that he's going to cheat on you one day, and he's trying to check the temperature of the room, and he's telling you. When that man kept saying AD made me a better man when they barely got out the pods, I was like, oh girl, he's gonna fuck you over. Like, he is really gonna try to, he's gonna fuck up, right? So that's something that we'll continue to see them working through. But I wanted to add some of the stuff going on TikTok for y'all to see what the people were saying. And then we're going to move on to the next couple. So let me show y'all this video. And I couldn't agree more with what this content creator said.
No, like, see, I'm really, okay, it's not, I'm really good. I just feel like there's a lot of thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, like, make sure that, like, I am really thinking about all of my choices, because sometimes I don't think about my choices. And I do think about cheating on you in the present and future, and I don't really want to cheat on you, because I think if I cheat on you, it's like, damn, I really had the opportunity to be with, like, a really bad bitch who would have fat ass. But I really gotta, I just really gotta think, and, like, I think to myself, like, damn, AD. You know what I'm saying? Like, AD all day. But yeah, so I'm just really in my head, just weighing options, thinking about my dad. My dad did cheat on my mom a lot. So when I'm thinking about my mom, I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about my dad, I'm thinking about Will Smith, I'm thinking about P. Diddy. All of those people make who I am. And so I just really, I'm just thinking, but I really am good. Like, it's us. Like, I'm so happy, baby.
Right.
Baby. Like, I am so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really, this is gonna be good. I love you, baby.
Okay. Oh, Clay.
Yeah. AD all day. No, like, see, I'm really, okay, it's not, I'm really good. I just feel like there's a lot of thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying.
Y'all, if you haven't watched the show yet, that's literally all that goes on. It is literally just like that. AD all day, baby, da da da. And I didn't even talk about the Diddy and Will Smith reference. Y'all, we gotta keep in mind this show was filmed a year ago, and he definitely shot himself in the foot, because this is before the Diddy allegations came out, and the whole Cassie thing came out. Clay was basically saying that these are men that we look up to in media, and he's looked up to them as like symbols of black love, but they have also always been cheaters. So he's telling her that he has never in his life seen a black man be faithful to a black woman. He said that his parents were best friends. They had a good relationship, but his daddy cheated. So what you think he gonna do, AD? Cheat, okay? She's gonna just like, okay. But I agree. I think she's gonna say no. I think that Love is Blind, y'all need to do like the people do on the Bachelor franchises, because I watched that show too. Get these people off social media. Get these people from answering Q&As, because at this point, I feel like I pretty much know what happened. I have a feeling that AD is not going to be with Kalei. She's not going to be with Kalei. Okay, so let's move on to the next couple. The next couple is Johnny and Amy. And y'all see I don't have anything on this side as far as their struggle. It seems like with this latest drop of episodes, they're misaligned on how they want to go about not having children. Johnny wants to be financially stable before he has children. They seem to get along very well. Their friends are there for the relationship. They seem to have the deepest connection. So by me telling y'all I'm bored with them, no shade. It's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I would love for somebody to come on the show and find real love. It might be these two, but you also may need to run a credit check on this man. Like it may be something going on. Who knows? Like whatever you say, like I want to be financially stable, there's nothing wrong with that, as you should be. A lot of people are not prepared to have children and they have them anyway. But I'm just saying, if it were me, I would pry a little bit more and find out what was going on. Okay, so the next couple that I would like to discuss, let's talk about Laura, Jeremy, and Sarah Ann. Okay, so this was obviously a love triangle in the pods. Jeremy, to me, y'all know how I feel about people who take pictures like this and pictures like this. They look like somebody that's going to take all the money out your bank account. They look like Legion. And he had glasses on in the pod too. He looked like he was going to take all the money out your bank account for a startup company. I did not trust this man. But I also didn't really care for Laura. Laura kind of stayed in some mess to me. Like, you'll find out with Jimmy and Chelsea, they're in a love triangle with a girl named Jessica. And Laura just takes the authority to go up to Jessica and is like, go home. I'm here to protect you at all costs. Go home. Right. Real estate pose. He wants some commission is what he's giving. And I just was not really feeling Laura like that. Sarah Ann, I don't really remember a whole lot about Sarah Ann. I just know that she was always kind of like the third girl. So ultimately, Jeremy ends up picking Laura. These two, they seem like they go together outside of the pods. They talking about they got the same political views. They have the same views on same-sex marriage and children and abortion and pro-life. And yeah. They seem like they go together. So y'all might be wondering why Sarah Ann is on the opposite side. She's continued to be a challenge in their relationship outside of the pods. Jeremy ever so delicately cut things off with Sarah Ann, and he did so by kind of leaving the door open in my Bruno Mars voice. He really did. Once they leave, Sarah Ann sends him a DM on Instagram, and basically she's like, I love you. I still love you. If things don't work out with Laura, hit me up. He tells Laura about the DMs. He continues to tell Laura about his, random run-ins with Sarah Ann, and he thinks that that basically like absolves himself of doing anything wrong. But at some point you have to question, well, what the fuck were you doing? How did you respond? And I like that Laura stayed on his head. Hold on, not so fast. Can we talk about Laura and AD? Can we talk before I say something good about this woman? Let's talk about Laura and AD. Laura, during the honeymoon, tells her husband to go up to AD and bean flip AD. I was like, bean flip? Bitch, what you trying to say? What does that mean? Nobody knew what it meant, but apparently it means to go up to her and flop her breast up. Laura, in what world do you think that you could tell your husband to go up to this woman and sexually assault her for your comedy? Like, I don't fool with Laura. It's something about this woman that's very much giving 8 by 11. I'm not fooling with it. I'm not fooling with it. I'm not fooling with it at all. And Clay ends up getting upset about it. Luckily, Jeremy has enough sense to know that he's not going to violate someone or someone's fiance like that. And Jeremy brings it up to Clay. Clay gets upset with Laura. Laura then is embarrassed and goes, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. It was just a joke. I don't even understand why he's doing all that. I don't even know why Jeremy told him. And Laura finds a way to get mad at everybody in the room for taking offense to it. Except, she doesn't take the responsibility of, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. AD allows Clay to basically set this man and Laura straight by saying that's fucked up. Don't play with me or my fiance. But AD then aids this white woman in feeling as though she's the victim in this situation and that everybody is tripping on her. That was another red flag for me on AD. AD is a people pleaser. She allowed that woman to play with her, just like she allowed Jimmy and Chelsea to talk about her body in front of the entire group. Oh, she's stacked. Squats and Jesus, girl, squats and Jesus. Like, that same energy that you had in the pods of I'm tired of people talking about my body, I'm not leading with that. That's what the fuck you should have told them white people when y'all was on the honeymoon island and they were playing in your fucking face, AD. You was over there aiding to this woman who told her husband to go up to you and touch you inappropriately. And when she tells you it's not a big deal, you let that shit slide. That's when I was like, okay, maybe we're not dealing with Chris. Maybe Clay has a little more sense than I thought because Clay was not playing with that shit, right? So anyway, now I don't even want to say nothing good about Laura. Laura did have a funny ass scene last episode. Her husband, Jeremy, was gone all night until 5 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, he thinks that he can beat the system. So he thinks if I tell you about something that I'm doing that's grimy, but maybe not like 100% of what I'm doing, maybe like 50% of what I'm doing, then you will no longer dig. Maybe if I put it in front of your face, you won't look for what I'm actually doing. So he sends her his location after spending the night out with the other guys. And the location comes through at 5 o'clock in the morning. So she's asking him, where was he at? Because you didn't get home till 6. And he's like, oh, I was at the bar. She's like, the bar closed at 2. He's like, well, I sent you my location. I was in the parking lot. Me and Sarah Ann were just talking until 5 o'clock in the morning. And Laura goes, so you think that I'm sitting up waiting on you to send your location? You think that I'm checking your location at 5 o'clock in the morning? And he's like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. She was like, I don't have time for that. And then ultimately she goes, so where were you? She gives him another chance. He says, I was in the parking lot of the bar. She said, no, you weren't. You were at Sarah Ann's. She said, the bar is at this location. They closed at this time. You were in Uptown. I screamed because I was like, you know what? So she did stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning. She did sit on her phone, collect her notes. Okay. She became an FBI agent and was like, play with me if you want to. I'm gonna give you a chance to get off. But if you want to lie, then go ahead and lie. And that's what he did. He lied. So we're going to see in the coming episodes that Sarah Ann is going to come back on the show. And it seems like Sarah Ann is willing to fight for this man, willing to fight for this This man who wants a bit of your coins to invest in his startup company. We'll see. Okay. My question for Laura is, are you going to leave like you told Jessica to leave? She told Jessica to leave as soon as she heard tea about Jessica and wanted Jessica to leave on her accord with no proof, no conversation with her man at the time. So Laura, are you going to keep that same energy and apply it? Because the proof is right in front of your face. As quick as you wanted Jessica to leave, are you leaving too? I'm like, I can't. Hey, Bondi. Bondi says Laura was jealous of AD. Yes, yes, yes. Laura was jealous of AD and sent Jeremy to assault her for vengeance. That's exactly what it was. She wanted to diminish AD and turn AD into a toy for the group because she was upset that everybody was talking about how good AD looked. So yeah, I'm not fucking with that white woman. Okay. This is what I want to talk about now. And then I want to talk about Megan Fox and Jimmy last. So I want to talk about Kenneth and what is this girl's name, y'all? Where they at? I need some water so bad. My goodness. Hold on. Kenneth and Britney? Kenneth and Britney. Yes. Kenneth and Britney. When I saw them in the pods from the beginning, and I saw that Kenneth was an assistant principal. I mean, not an assistant. Let me put some respect on his name. He's a principal at 25 years old of a charter school. I died laughing. They couldn't see each other, but when I saw them, I was like, damn, they look like coworkers. They look like they would be eating in the teacher's lounge. They look like they flirt a little bit at the pep rallies. And, you know, if the kid's acting a fool, Kenneth might come over and be like, hey, you heard Miss Britney, get in line. But, you know, they didn't seem to work out like that. We find out that Kenneth has never dated a white woman before. And I guess his comfort is with black women. Some things just did not make sense here, y'all. One of the things I left out when I was talking about Clay was a lot of people. Hold on. Let me back up. Let me back up. I ain't going to go there just yet. Hold on. So, Kenneth has never dated a white woman before. He clearly knows that this woman is white. They have conversations in the pod, and she's asking him, do you identify as black? Does your family identify as black? I fell into my fucking couch because at some point, can we let the political shit go? Can we let it go? Because there is no other way that this dark-skinned man could identify. Like, it's not like he has a choice to identify as white, as Asian. And this hypersensitive language sometimes is irritating as fuck. And everybody expects you to find a middle ground and a politically correct way to say it. It's like whenever people are afraid to say black and they want to say, I saw this girl. Oh, I saw this girl on YouTube. Her name's Necey Dixon. Oh, what she look like? She's African American. Black. Like, can we stop? And that's what Britney was given. Britney is a very sweet girl. Don't get me wrong. She's a very sweet girl. But to me, that was enough for me to know, you may not want to have black kids with this girl. Okay. And yes, I say black kids because when her kids grow up, based on the hue of this man's skin tone, I'm going to assume that they would not have the privilege to identify as white or black. They probably would be 2 shades lighter than me. Okay. They would be black people. So while Britney's a really sweet girl and it sounds like she wants to make the efforts to, you know, stand beside her man, be educated, it's clear that she's just ignorant right now. So for Kenneth to propose to her, fall in love, you know, and then turn around and make it seem like the issue is that she's a white woman, that bothers me. People are upset that AD asked him on the honeymoon, do you think that she's prepared to raise black children? And it seemed as though that was something that he had never thought about it before. He took that question that AD asked him and ran with that shit. Now, you may be wondering why a cell phone is on the opposite side of the screen. And that's because that seemed to be the challenge in their relationship. Instead of Kenneth coming out and saying, I'm not comfortable around you because I like my phone. I know y'all thought I was going to say like me. Instead of him saying that, they just go through this like awkward thing. He's on his phone every couple seconds, and Britney is asking him, why is the energy different than it was in the pods? At this point, I'm feeling bad for Britney, right? Yes, the girl's ignorant, okay? The girl ignorantly said identify, right? But Kenneth is showing that he may be the fuck boy that I was overlooking. Like he was getting me more riled up than Clay because he continued to gaslight her. Things that were a real issue, he didn't want to discuss. He would flip it on Britney and be like, oh, so every time I get quiet or every time I have a bad day where I'm not like my normal self, you're just going to do this? You're just going to assume I don't like you? Oh, okay. So, I mean, I don't have an issue, but you have an issue. He kept gaslighting her. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I know social media kept saying, oh, Clay and Kenneth are gay. They're gay. They like men. And, you know, I kind of got that vibe with Clay right off top. But with Kenneth, I was like, okay, y'all, we got to stop. Like, we can't keep calling everybody gay just because their relationships don't work out. So I'm trying to like venture other things that could be causing this. And I'm like, this boy is 25. He feels very young. And he was confident when he didn't see her face. And now that he sees her in person, he can't keep up that same confidence, which is why he's living in his phone. He just came off as very timid to me, like he was uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because he's gay? I don't know. Uncomfortable because he's insecure? Maybe. Ain't no telling. So for the umpteenth time, Britney ends up bringing this up at home. He comes home late. She brings it up again. Why are you acting different? He gaslights her. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, Britney didn't like what he looked like. Maybe she didn't, but I feel like Britney was willing to make it work with her husband. Kenneth didn't try anything. Kenneth did not try a thing. The other thing that people are using as proof to say that this man is gay is that he was actually happy about taking the pressure away from them having to have sex outside of the pods because both of them agreed that they wanted to wait until marriage. So people are like, okay. So Brittany's asking him, why are you acting different? He ends up gaslighting her again. And he says, hey, this ain't enough for us to make it to the altar. But of course, he flips it on her. Instead of saying, I don't feel like we can make it to the altar, let's break up. He says, hey, it's just not enough. And if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And I mean, I respect that. So let's just hug so we know it's no beef. And they hug it out. He ends up going to the room. Brittany is falling over in the kitchen, crying, sliding down the motherfucking wall. And while I was so annoyed with Kenneth, I was also really relieved in this moment that even though he gaslit her out of the relationship, that he went ahead and did it. Because if he would have continued to gaslight her, like this was given, I don't think Brittany would have just left the relationship. Brittany was going to fight for something that she thought was going to be a marriage. And I would have cringed having to see that for the rest of the season. So I was like, okay, good. Fuck it. If it's done, it's done. Okay. Hate the way it ended. Hate that you couldn't say it with your chest, Ken, but it's done. You just saved her. So Kenneth walks into the room. He's on the phone with a man and he goes, yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm on my way over there right now. I was like, um, so it kind of sounds like you was talking to this dude the whole time and you was telling him like, yeah, I'm gonna be home tonight. But let me start some shit with my fiance and then we'll move on from there. And that's exactly what he did. So let me show y'all what the people are saying on TikTok. Yeah, let's jump into this.
So allegedly Kenneth is gay and he went on the show for TV exposure. Oh my God. There's been plenty of people in my comment section suggesting that he's gay, but I just was like, baby, stop being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not call people gay just because they, talk a certain way, walk a certain way, or whatever the fuck. Like, nothing about him to me suggested that he was gay based off how he looked or his mannerisms or anything like that. Until I got on social media and saw that his cousin was exposing him as being gay. His cousin. Baby, I don't know if she just wanted attention or what, but yeah. So she says, he's my cousin, he's gay or whatever, right? And when they like start asking questions, and she says, I guess he just wanted TV time. You know what I'm saying? And here's the smoking gun. She says, go cousin, love to see it. Tags him, Kenneth Gorham, right? And then the motherfucker liked it. And this is from 2022. Listen, she's not lying saying that's her cousin. So why does she expose him as being... I just want to know why she thought that it was her place to expose him as that. I don't know. I'm just reporting. It's not my place to expose anything either. I'm just reporting what I see. So allegedly Kenneth is gay and he went on the show for TV exposure.
All right. I hope y'all had a chance to like the video. Yeah. So yesterday, I was running errands with my sisters, and my sister was like, "Yeah, they saying Kim is gay," and I was like, "Girl, like, stop! Like, I'm so done." And she was like, "No, his cousin said it," and I'm like, "Anybody could say you they cousin on the internet, right?" So I hop on TikTok, and this is the video that I found. There's a couple other ones out there too. I think it's like 2 or 3 more, but this was probably the most popular one. And if you haven't had a chance, just look at the creator that's in the video and go to TikTok so you can see the screenshots yourself. But basically, she says that Kenneth is gay and that he went on the show only to please the family. And people are using her repost in 2022 as evidence that this is truly her cousin. Where I think he was on the Ellen show or Kelly Clarkson TV show. He was on some daytime talk show. And he basically made the news for being one of the youngest principals. Now, in the post that she reposted, he then hearts it. I haven't gone on Facebook myself to see if this is legitimate. I'm just telling y'all what the people are saying on TikTok. So, yeah, when it comes to the Britney and Kenneth situation, I'm more than irritated with Kenneth. Not because he may like men, but because you had no business getting on this fucking show knowing damn well that you were talking to a white woman in the pods to then get out and say, you know what, I can't do it. I can't be with a white woman. The shit is stupid. Okay. You knew when you built a connection with this woman that she was white. And I would be mad as fuck if the tables were turned the other way. It's just dumb to me. And it kind of feels like a cop out for some other reason. Maybe the reason that is in the TikTok video that I told y'all about. Who knows? So yeah, let's get into our final couple. And that is Megan Fox and what's that boy? He said he looked like Christian McCaffrey. He claimed that people say that he looks like Christian McCaffrey. Okay. So this couple right here. We have Chelsea and Jimmy over on this side. And then we have their conflicts. We have their challenges on the screen, starting with Megan Fox, Jessica, and then Trevor. Y'all. So Jimmy was in a love triangle with Jessica and Chelsea. Chelsea also had a connection with Trevor, but Trevor kind of seemed to be less of a factor in her decision. Chelsea is one of those girls that is insecure AF. She's come on TikTok. She says that she has a therapist. She says she's tired of everybody talking about how insecure she is. But y'all, it is just, I can't take it, okay? I can't take it. It was clear to me that Chelsea knew that she was in competition with Jessica. Chelsea knew what Jessica looked like. And Chelsea also just wanted to say yes to whoever asked her first. Whenever, I think it was Jimmy or Trevor, one of them said that they were in love with her, she fell on the ground crying. And she went back to the ladies' lounge and she said something like, I'm just crying. I'm so emotional because I'm not used to men being nice to me. I'm used to men being mean. So I feel like Chelsea felt like whoever asked her first, she was so fucking thirsty for a ring that she was going to say yes. Jimmy ends up asking her first, but I don't feel like it's because he felt like his connection was stronger. It was because of some things that was going on with Jessica. So he finds out two things from Jessica, or one thing from Jessica, one thing from Chelsea, and he has to decide how he wants to move with this information. So this is before he proposes. Chelsea tells him she used to be married. She got married when she was 18, was young and dumb. They got at their parents' house, got divorced. She's grown since then. Same day, Jessica tells him that she actually has a 10-year-old daughter. Jessica grew up in the foster care system. A woman adopted her, and she's super thankful for the woman every day because if she wasn't adopted, they would have then put her daughter in the foster care system because she was 17. So Jimmy wants kids. Jimmy just don't know if he want to jump into the picture and be stepdaddy right now. So Chelsea kind of knows that he has connections going on with other people. And much like Clay did, he sly tried to ask what you look like. He was like, do you have a celebrity look like? And Chelsea goes, um, what's that girl's name? MGK's wife or girlfriend or whatever. People say I look like her. And he said, are you talking about Megan Fox? And he gets so excited because he thinks he hit the jackpot. For him, he's like, do I want to take the girl who looks like Megan Fox who's been divorced, or do I want to take this other woman, I don't know who she looks like, who has a 10-year-old child? And that's when he makes the decision that he wants to propose to Chelsea. I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all ain't been on Twitter or Threads or whatever y'all do, Megan Fox has been trending, and this is why. After the episode aired, I woke up for 2 days straight. Woke up, thanking God I'm alive. And I immediately just felt secondhand embarrassment and was like, why did she tell that man she looked like Megan Fox? Like literally 2 days in a row. I was waking up in embarrassment, like, ooh, why would she do that? Yeah. She has blue eyes and dark hair. Chelsea said it herself, but it's only because I have blue eyes and dark hair. Chelsea, you can't say nothing like that and then say, well, it's only because I'm white. Like, you can't do that. Yes. Who said that? Somebody saw. Yes, Jamia says that they are both the exact wavelength in terms of looks. Yes, Jimmy and Chelsea look like they go together. They look like they are in the same league. But you definitely set yourself up. And I felt bad for Chelsea because the internet was lighting her ass up. But then part of me didn't feel bad because I low-key feel like she did it out of spite. You know fucking well that this man, Jimmy, by textbook standards, was going to prefer Jessica over you. You knew that. You're insecure. You're always comparing yourself to somebody on the show. You knew that. So by you telling him that you look like Megan Fox, I felt like you wanted to win the race. So Jimmy ends up proposing to her. Trevor ends up proposing to her. She falling on the floor crying. Trevor asked her, are you choosing the person that's making you the happiest, or are you just choosing the person who picked you first? She can't answer the question. I was thinking that she would have been better off choosing Trevor because Trevor kept saying, I do not care what she looked like. I am in love with her. Like, this is who I want to be with. But the streets are saying things about Trevor. And ultimately, they wouldn't have been in a good spot either. So let me show y'all what people are saying about Trevor.
Y'all, when I tell you the tea is hot, I mean it is scalding. Texts have just been released between Trevor and his girlfriend, yes, girlfriend, at the time when he was filming Love is Blind. They were in a serious, committed, and loving relationship before Love is Blind, during the pods, and immediately continued it upon his return home. In the messages, which are timestamped the day he left for filming, Trevor allegedly tells his girlfriend of the time that he loves her so much, and that upon meeting another cast member, they both spoke and agreed that no matter what, they are not getting married, and that he's excited to get back to her and start their lives together. Trevor goes on to tell her allegedly, "I love you more than anything in this world, and I'm going to marry you." Trevor even allegedly went on to tell her that he proposed to Chelsea, but she left him on the last day for another guy. He even went so far as to add in that he had to pretend that it wasn't real life in order to say the things that he did. What do you guys think about these text messages? Was Trevor flying underneath the radar the whole time? This story is developing, so make sure to follow for the latest news and updates.
All right. So it sounds like Chelsea would have been in a bad situation if she would have chosen Trevor, because it's coming out that a lot of these cast members were already in relationships. I'm hearing that Sarah Ann, who was involved with Jeremy, was in a relationship before she came on the show. So let's move on to outside of the pods. We get Chelsea and Jimmy. And y'all, I low-key was irritated as hell with Jimmy because I felt like he was constantly trying to convince himself that he was happy with the decision that he had made. Every other sentence was, "You're beautiful, Chelsea. I love you. You're perfect. You're so beautiful. You look better than what I thought you would have looked." Meanwhile, in his confessional, he was like, "It's clear she lied about some things. She doesn't look like Megan Fox." Jimmy was literally trying to convince himself that he was happy with the decision that he had made. And every time he got in front of the group, he would do this thing of, "Oh, she's so beautiful. She's so perfect. We're the happiest couple here. We're better than everybody else." And he was trying to convince himself. And it was clear to Chelsea that he was trying to convince himself, which is why she kept looking for that validation. But it was irky as fuck. So y'all know what the tables like to do. They like to turn. I went from being like, "Damn, I feel bad for Chelsea for setting herself up," to kind of being like, "Girl, fuck Chelsea." Okay. I went from that to that because I'm like, Chelsea, the reason why you are having so much inner conflict with this man is because you don't believe the things that he's saying. You don't believe that he thinks that you're perfect. You don't believe that y'all have the best relationship there. That's why you're asking the other women, are y'all having sex? Once you found out that both AD and Laura had sex with their men and you didn't have sex with your man, what you go do? Go upstairs and bust it wide open because you didn't want to be behind. You thought that if your looks didn't suffice, then maybe your puss would keep him. That's what you thought. So ultimately, even though this man falsely affirmed you every 2 seconds, you knew it wasn't real. So at what point do you just decide to say, "I'm going to remove myself"? And you didn't do that. So they're at the house. Chelsea's friends come over. Jimmy does the same thing. He's affirming her, affirming her, affirming her. But to me, I feel like they feel like lies, lies, lies. Just that's just a gut feeling. And she's like, "He hasn't kissed me all day. He hasn't kissed me all day. It's been 2 days or something like that." And they get into it in the kitchen. And she's basically like, "You haven't kissed me." And Jimmy's basically just like, "Hey, I did kiss you." And they get into this argument. And he says, "You're getting kind of clingy." And that's when I was kind of glad. Not because he was being mean, but I felt like he was being real. At some point, Jimmy, you got to be real. And I'm like, okay, like we got to break the ice somehow, right? So Chelsea's like, "You're gonna call me fucking clingy? You're gonna call me clingy when I did this for you and I did this and we had sex and blah blah blah." And he says to her, "To be honest, we could lay off the sex too." Y'all, I about screamed. Only because I believe what Jimmy is saying. That was the only moments that I felt like he was being truthful. I felt like Jimmy at some point felt like this is the decision that I made. Even though I'm not nearly as attracted to Chelsea as I am Jessica, because at this point he knows what Jessica looks like over Instagram. I'm willing to try to give this my all. And my flaw is that I'm going to lie to myself and I'm going to lie out loud. So when he was being real, I screamed. Chelsea, yes, is exhausting. And at some point, the reason why his affirmations or reassurances aren't working is because you know that you don't believe them. So you got to go with your gut feeling, Chelsea, and you're going to have to move, okay? It's fine. So they end up making up. And when they make up, they go to meet Jimmy's friends, which is two girls. And, they get into so Chelsea, what do you think about him having two female friends? And Chelsea's just kind of like, it is what it is. At first, I was insecure about it. I'm not going to lie. I've had boyfriends who cheat on me before with girlfriends who are just their friends. So she was suspicious about it. But she feels like, you know what? I can trust y'all. We're girlfriends. We're all friends. Yeah. But what are the things that Jimmy's girlfriend kept saying? Good girlfriend. Was something like they were talking about sex, and his friend was like, yeah, because he's a crier. And I was like, ooh. Now y'all are getting a little bit too comfortable. And they were talking about how Jimmy was in relationships, how if you didn't do this to Jimmy, he would feel like, oh my gosh, you don't like her. Now, I don't know about y'all, but as far as me in any male relationships that I have, like friendships, I can't completely tell you in detail how they are when they're in relationships. I can't. Not unless you've been the person that's been on the other side of that relationship. So I grew a little bit suspicious about the friend that was commenting on his peen and stuff like that. It was just weird. So they end up leaving. And that's kind of where the episode ends. But we do see a future clip where Jessica is going to come back. And Jessica wants to meet Jimmy. She wants him to see her. But we also see a clip of Chelsea arguing with Jimmy, and she's like, I know you fucked her. I know you fucked her. And everybody's assuming that Jimmy had sex with Jessica. But I've been hearing more theories that Jimmy is more likely that Jimmy slept with one of his friends that came on the show. And I completely agree. So yeah, y'all. That's Love is Blind. The next drop is supposed to happen in 3 days on Wednesday. So I will probably come to y'all probably next Sunday, to be real, on the 3rd, to give y'all time to watch the episodes. I won't be at work that day. I got the weekends off. I will come on and I will talk to y'all about the next installment of Love is Blind. This season is messy. It's messy. It's very, 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 very messy. Okay. I hope y'all had a good time on this live. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video so I can be friends with your friends and we can all be friends. But yeah, I hope y'all have a good Sunday and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.